for all women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment. International Women's Day 2025. Bucking her parents' wishes and societal norms, this woman bravely strode towards her goal. How were you introduced to the world of equestrianism?
Well, funnily enough, no one in my family actually was into horses, and I actually got obsessed with horses through books. I read Black Beauty as a child, and I got obsessed with them, and then I read everything to do with horses. And then my uncle actually got me a book about the Spanish riding school in Vienna with the white Lipizzaner stallions. And I remember being so upset as a child because they only allowed men, only allowed boys. But I think they've changed it now. But I was obsessed with it, and I read everything, and I begged my parents until eventually they thought it was ridiculous, and eventually they let me try horseback riding. And then, you know, horseback riding, you can't learn to ride a horse without falling off. And every time I fell off, my father would be like, "That's it. She's not getting back on a horse ever again." And but you know, the only way to learn to ride is to get back on. And I don't know, it was my passion, and I just loved it, and it's what I wanted, you know, my happy place in the world, and all I wanted to do. And everybody thought it was ridiculous, like, you know, get a real job, like focus on something proper, like, you know what I mean, like this is not this is just for play, you can't really do this with your life. But here I am. One of the coolest things about equestrian, especially, is it's one of the very, very few Olympic sports. I think, in fact, it's the only one, apart from maybe snooker, where men and women can compete equally, which is really kind of fun. And, you know, the horses are a great equalizer in that sense. And I actually managed to, funnily enough, get an equestrian scholarship to go away to university. So they kind of were a stepping stool for me in a lot of ways. And then I did my American coaching certification when I was at university in the States. And then I went to the UK and I did my British Horse Society certification. So we don't have a lot of qualified instructors, and my parents thought I was mad. I remember my mother cried and offered to buy me a brand new car if I would stay in Trinidad. But, you know, I couldn't refuse the opportunity. And it was such a long shot as well. It was just such a random thing that, you know, horses got me into stepping out into the world, as it were. And I went to an all-women's university as well, which was very empowering, which is kind of all kind of connected in its own crazy way.
What were some of the challenges you've had in this field?
Lots of problems with life is money, and horses are so expensive to maintain, you know. So it's really difficult to, you know, I wish more people could have access to them, and, you know, we just don't have enough quality horses as well. Like, most of our horses are racehorses we train from the track. We have a couple ponies, but you know, a lot of them come from the track abused or they're injured, so it's really hard to get them to the level of competition, to like international level competition where you're doing show jumping and dressage. With horses, it takes a lot of time and energy and training, and they're just so expensive to maintain that you know, it's a really hard road. And then if they do then break down on you, you know, it's heartbreaking because you've put in so much time and effort into building, because it's a team, you know, and building that relationship and building them up. And then they break your hearts when you lose them.
Tell us some of your successes that stand out to you.
I have to credit, a mentor was an old lady, Margaret Bennett. When I was a teenager, she started the riding for the disabled, for the physically disabled, for the Princess Elizabeth School, the home. And I used to help out with that program. It was such a great program that I loved doing when I was young. And then when I came back home because my mom got sick with Alzheimer's, because I was working in England as a teacher. And the program had died because Margaret had gotten old and retired and pregnant. And so I restarted the program. So that is one of my favorite things, because the princes, they still come and choose. I actually stopped doing it when I got pregnant, and now Andrea Lee runs it for me. But I got that back on its feet, and they come every week here, and they ride the ponies, and that's like one of my favorite things that I've achieved so far.
How do you think we can achieve equality and empowerment and ensure rights for all women and girls?
In the larger sense, I would like to see a lot more like legislation and stuff to support women, especially like single moms and stuff, and going through the courts is so difficult. But I mean, in my world, you know, the baby steps are women's, you know, it takes a village. Like I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have help from like my sister and my single mom friends that help me with my daughter and stuff, especially when stuff goes wrong and I need help. I wouldn't be able to be here and balance and juggle it all. So I think, I mean, the baby steps are just in terms of community and mentoring as well. I wish that more people had access to them because they're so therapeutic. They help with trauma, they help with depression, they help teach girls confidence. I mean, I don't think there's a better place for our young people than at the barn. We start them from probably about 4. And then we have, I mean, we lose most of our girls that our top competitive girls tend to go away to university, so we lose them just when they're like really getting good. And then we have everything between. But mostly we do have girls, you know. We have very few boys that are, funnily enough, brave enough to get on a horse. The girls tend to be braver when it comes to working with the horses.
Why is it important to celebrate International Women's Day annually?
I mean, I just think there's so many women out there that are struggling and are limited and told they can't do it, and without, you know, references for hope, to look for mentors and other women out there that can inspire them. Because I mean, everybody told me I would never be able to do this. I mean, this farm didn't even exist when I was a kid, and you know, people just give up too easily when they're told that they can't do it, and it's not an option, and it's you know, the women are so often limited, especially our younger girls, you know. So I think it's really important to highlight women that are empowering.
For all women and girls, rights, equality and empowerment, the Office of the Parliament celebrates International Women's Day 2025.